Hey, good morning. 9:13 is the current time here on the 19th of December. It's Friday morning. It's one of the last days of school before winter break for a lot of kids, and it does not feel like winter at all. We're tracking this really, really interesting system across the region here. So I wanted to hop on and just chat about what's going on behind the scenes, and then we'll talk about what's on the way for later, what we're kind of watching with this system, because it's rainy, it's mild, it's windy out there, and I think it's only going to get windier, and I think we've still got heavy rain on the way as we head a little bit later on into the day. So we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube right now. Drop your comments in whenever you need. You have a question or anything like that. Also, telling us any reports that you might have as well. Rainfall, downed tree limbs, anything like that. We really appreciate those reports, of course, if it is safe to do so. So let's go ahead and take a look at our radar here. We've got a very, very interesting setup. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on what's going on here and grab my little pointer. So what we've got is some pretty heavy rain across Connecticut right now. You can see that's pretty much stretching across the entire state. I was actually watching this line. You can see this line here. Let me go ahead and pause this radar here. So there's a line of thunderstorms that looks very intriguing. I have seen already one severe thunderstorm warning in parts of New York, which for this time of year is rather strange. But I do think this line of thunderstorms, you can definitely see where it is on the screen there, all across central New York, heading over towards the Albany area here very soon. That is kind of the final push of this system, so to say. We're talking about, how mild things are right now. Once that line of storms rolls through, that is going to lead to cooler temperatures through the rest of the day. And storms, I do think that a couple rumbles of thunder are going to be possible with this system. It's a very interesting setup here. So I'm thinking that line of thunderstorms is going to be here within the next about 2 to 3 hours. So as we head towards the lunch hour, right now it's 9:15 as I'm talking about this. So I do think during the 11 o'clock hour, and we'll be live on NBC Connecticut news at 11 a.m. for that system. So that's kind of what I'm watching there. I also want to point out, as I zoom over to other parts of New York here, some snow on the backside of this system. Just shows how cold things are going to be getting here. So let me see if I can find a temp map just to kind of show the cooler air that is going to be coming into the region, because it really is. It's an interesting setup here. This one might have it. Let me see if we can pull this up here. We've got, temperatures are in the 50s right now. There you go. You can definitely see that where exactly the cold front is, exactly where I was telling you, that line of showers and even a few thunderstorms that are trying to form there. And you can see just here, let me grab that pointer again. You can just see where that line is right there. That's the cold front. And you'll notice it's already impacting Buffalo, 35 degrees. It's 47 in Binghamton, 40 in Watertown, New York, and 56 degrees here. I believe we have now broken the record high temperature for today. I believe it was 54 degrees. And I'm going to check that almanac for you here in just a second. But man, just very mild, but give it a few hours. By about noon, once you hear that heavy band of rain move on through that I was just talking about, temperatures are going to drop pretty quickly through the afternoon. So mild right now, but by the time you might be heading home from work, school, whatever it might be, going to be a little bit cooler. And then, of course, those wind gusts are something else that we are watching as well. Let me see if I can pull that up across the Northeast. So, 47 mile per hour wind gusts there in Albany, 24 miles an hour in Hartford. I've seen some wind gusts up to about 40, 45 miles already through this morning, and it's only going to get stronger as the day goes on, as that line of potentially a few thunderstorms makes their way towards us. I mean, this is a very interesting setup. This is not typically something we see this time of year. I mean, as I stepped out the door this morning, I thought we were about to go on to spring break, not winter break. So that's kind of what this system is. And I want to show you something else too, just to, again, show you how interesting this is. This is something that we don't typically show this time of year, the 19th of December, and there is a day one risk for severe weather in the Northeast. Not here in Connecticut. It is going to stay a little bit further to our southwest here. Let me go ahead and zoom out, but it's not far away. It's just outside of New York, pretty much all of Jersey, all of Delaware, parts of Maryland, down to Virginia, and the Philadelphia area. They are potentially watching the chance for some strong, even severe storms at times. Now, just because we might not see any severe thunderstorm warnings, I would be very shocked if that happened here in Connecticut. But wind, even without the rain today, that wind is going to be really, really strong. To give you an idea, the severe weather threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued is 60-mile-per-hour winds. We are expecting similar wind gusts as we go through today. This is our official wind map for you here. 45 to 55 mile per hour winds expected across the state. And unfortunately, that's going to create some issues out there. One thing I'm concerned about this time of year is our Christmas decorations, all the inflatables that are out and about, the lights. So hopefully you're able, like we talked about all day yesterday, hopefully you were able to take time to secure those as best as possible as we go through the day here, and potentially even higher winds the further southeast that you go. Southeast Connecticut, parts of Rhode Island, Long Island, Nantucket, Block Island, Fisher's Island there, Martha's Vineyard, all of those areas going to see some very strong wind gusts. Another thing that I am definitely watching through the next few hours, so we're going to keep an eye on this. It's a coastal flood advisory for the shoreline of Connecticut. The reason why is high tide is happening right about now across Long Island Sound. It's east to west. So New Haven, I believe we've got in about an hour, 10:30 this morning. So within the next about 2 hours or so, we are going to have to monitor the shoreline there. Some of that minor flooding, kind of in those areas that are more prone to it, potentially some minor flooding. And one of the issues here is that wind and the wind direction, it's coming out of the south. So that is going to push all of that water up onto the shore. Now, Long Island does protect us quite a bit, but still, especially the southeastern part of the state where those winds will be a little bit stronger, I do think, and even all the way down towards New Haven and Bridgeport, I do still think this is something that we're going to have to pay attention to. So yeah, somebody says it's sunny and warm in Myrtle Beach. That is the place to be right now, I would say. Awesome. That sounds really, really fun. Again, send us your reports. I'm going to show you guys, our rainfall reports so far. Let me see if anything has been updated. And I'm also looking at, high tide in New Haven is at 10:28 this morning. And the forecasted high tide is just, about a foot or so below that minor flood stage. So that's why we are going to have to keep an eye on that. I believe the coastal flood advisory goes until 1 p.m. So we'll watch that through the midday hours. So let's see what's going on with rainfall here. Starting to see a good amount of rain move across the region. Let me grab this map for you. I updated this map about 30 minutes ago, but it's almost outdated at this point. We really are seeing quite a bit of that rain move on through. And here, let me go ahead and grab your city list of just a couple of rainfall reports that I've seen so far. About 3/4 of an inch in Newtown, about a 1/2 inch in Waterbury. And like I said, I made this map about 30 minutes ago, and I do think it's almost outdated now because I'm starting to see some rainfall reports upwards of over an inch in the Newtown area, Fairfield County there. So quite a bit of rain. Someone says, good morning from Waterbury. It's windy and pouring. Yeah, that wind is no joke. I do want to take a look again at our wind gusts because they are already starting to pick up. We even saw a little bit of fog this morning because it took a little bit longer for that wind to settle in, but now it's here and you can see these wind gusts all across the state are definitely on the stronger side. Very windy out there, and it's all out of the southeast. So of course that's aiding that coastal flood advisory, just pushing that water up on the shore. 41-mile-per-hour wind gusts in the Bridgeport area, and I don't even think this is as strong as it's going to get. I think that highest potential, like I talked about, is that line of some thunderstorms that are trying to form there. I think that's the highest potential for us to see those stronger wind gusts. So we're going to see that potential as we head towards the midday hours. And I can even track that out for you once I'm going to go ahead and grab our future radar just to show you again exactly what we are watching. Again, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for reporting on the weather. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day as well. It's a great Friday. It's a good Friday out there, right? But it's an interesting one, to say the least. I grew up in the Midwest, and this is par for the course for something. Even this time of year, we see some crazy weather, but a little out of the ordinary for New England. So it is definitely an interesting system to track. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this system here. So there's that heavier rain that's moving across the region right now, and this model is doing a fantastic job of showing that. There might be a little lull as we head kind of towards the late 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour, but do you see that right there? Look at Western Connecticut at about 11:30 this morning. That's that line of potentially a few thunderstorms that I'm watching right now. I don't think, like I said, severe weather is not expected, but you could hear a few rumbles of thunder there. But we're going to track that through about 11 into 12, 1 o'clock, out of here by about 2. So that's going to be across the state. And you'll notice even with those temperatures on the screen right there, a cool down right behind once that system moves on through, once that line of things moves on through. Because temperatures will be already in the 40s at 2 p.m. in northwestern Connecticut, 52 in Hartford, and then things will slowly cool down as we go through the afternoon. Now, I think most of us are going to be dry by about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. That being said, I don't think we're completely dry because of that wind kind of hanging on and then making that transition out of the west. Still could grab enough moisture to maybe show a couple of showers. And yeah, you're seeing that right. Potentially a few flurries. Can you believe that? We're warming to almost 60 degrees today, a record high temperature, and we're going to cool down so quickly and hold on to enough moisture that there's a chance that we could even see a couple of flurries out there later on this evening. Just crazy. I mean, that's just one of the things. I mean, you know what they say, you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it'll change. And today is one of those days. Let's look at some more comments. Dreading to go out for physical therapy today. Make sure you're staying safe, Michelle. Slippery out there. So take your time, especially on the roads. Everybody, use your headlights. The rain's definitely coming down pretty good right now. Watch your step outside as well, those slippery roads and slippery sidewalks and stuff like that. Just give yourself plenty of extra time to get to where you're going. And also, if you're going to be traveling like east to west, watch for those crosswinds, right? Those winds upwards of 55 miles an hour. You'll feel those vehicles shaking. So just make sure you're staying safe, just making sure that you are doing the best that you can to be a good, cautious driver out there. So make sure you're staying safe. Somebody says, I grew up in Iowa. I'm praying for a white Christmas. Very, very windy here in Barkhamsted. Yeah, very windy and a white Christmas. Actually, it's funny that you say that because we were starting to watch the potential for maybe a little something by Tuesday. So the question is, does it pan out, and does it stick around for Christmas? And I'll explain this more this weekend when I'm working in the morning, because right now we're really focusing on today's system. But so the official definition. We in weather, we always have official definitions for everything. It just makes it easier for record keeping and things like that. So the official definition for a white Christmas means that we need 1 inch of snow on the ground. It doesn't have to be snowing, but 1 inch of snow on the ground on Christmas Day. There's actually a potential for that. I know all of the snow melted from this past weekend, obviously with what's happening right now, but there is going to be a chance as we head towards Tuesday. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull up a graphic for you here. Let me see, because I am watching this system pretty closely. We're just going to see if it puts itself together. Let me see if I can grab this for you and just go ahead and show you there. We appreciate you guys being here with us this morning. It's not the nicest morning out there, very dark, windy, rainy. Unfortunately, we also kind of have to pay attention to any like power outages this morning, right? Because that's going to be potentially an issue as well. So let me go ahead and just make sure that I'm just grabbing this model for us here so we can look over the next several days. So this is specifically the European weather model that does pretty good this far out. So you can see that rain moving on through. All right. Take a look at what happens late Saturday into Sunday. Some snow over northern New England. I do think it stays there, but that's going to be along a cold front that kind of cools things down. A temperature roller coaster again, and I'll show you those future temperatures here in just a second. But let's keep an eye on what happens here on Tuesday. We really are going to watch that. The potential for maybe a little bit of snow. Still several days out to really hone down on the forecast, but the potential is definitely there for maybe some minor accumulations. We're going to keep an eye on that, keep you updated. That'll be kind of our next focus after the rain and wind today, but that would likely be Tuesday into potentially parts of Tuesday night. So we're going to keep an eye on that. There's also a chance for a little bit of rain late on Christmas Day. Let me go ahead and grab this graphic for you too. I showed this a lot this morning because I do think it does a good job of showing what exactly we're looking at here with precipitation. Obviously, a 100% chance for rain today because we're seeing that for sure. And then on Sunday, 10% just because that snow, I do think it stays to our north. Tuesday, though, it's looking more and more likely that we see a little something. I think it might be some snow. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Then Thursday, 6 days away now from Christmas Day. Can you believe it? Thursday is now, we added a 20% chance for rain for late in the day. So Christmas Eve right now, that's Wednesday. That looks to be dry, seasonal, temperatures in the upper 30s, lower 40s. Thursday looks pretty seasonal as well, but later in the day on Christmas Day, we will have to watch for maybe some rain. I think it's mostly Thursday night into Friday, but still several days out, we're going to keep an eye on that system. So again, just want to go ahead and go back and show you what's happening all across the state right now. That wind and that rain are really just something right now. Let me go ahead and grab that for you as it loads. We've got that rain all across the state. And of course, send us all of your reports, all of your comments. We love to read them. We want to know what's happening in your area. One of the things that makes Connecticut so great is somebody who just, moved here about a year ago. It's all the small towns, there's so many of them. And we love to hear from each and every one of you to make sure we get all of that coverage across the state. So please send us in your reports. Just let us know if it's super windy out there, if you're seeing heavy rain, let us know how your commute was this morning. Hopefully it was safe. If you've already been out and about today. And of course, if you continue to go out later today, that wind and that rain just doesn't make for the best conditions outside. So we will, of course, be watching that through your day. My computer's taken a little bit of extra time to populate that radar, but we'll get there. And so, yeah, it's a pretty good day. Pretty interesting day, I should say. It keeps me on my toes for sure. Temperatures are in the 50s right now. I do believe we've already broken that record once my computer decides to start working again. We will show you the almanac. I can even, while I'm waiting for it to do that, I can even look it up for you. But yeah, windy, rainy, gloomy, honestly. At least, it's mild. This time of year, it's been a very cold start to December, so this is an odd day for sure. It's been so dry, right? My skin has just been, it's been so dry out there. At least today, we get a break from that. It's definitely not dry outside. So at least, we got to look at the positives when it comes to anything. All right, well, my computer just doesn't want to work anymore today. That's not how it works sometimes. Let me see if I can just find, I'm gonna go ahead and find that almanac for you today, because I do believe we have broken the record for high temperatures already today. So I'm looking for that right now on my other computer. So let's see what's going on here. So the daily almanac for today, December 19th, is 54 degrees set back in 1949. It's currently 56. So that record has been broken. And temperatures are going to drop quite a bit tonight. I think I'm going to have to, unfortunately, restart this computer and then we'll come back to it. But yeah, let us know. And I can obviously still stay on while we're doing this, but let's see what's it doing here. But yeah, let us know what you're seeing. We're of course continuing to monitor all of that rain that's moving across the region. I'm still seeing those wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and just go back to my screen here just so we can talk while I'm getting my graphics back up and running. That's what live streams, live stuff, always got to work on your toes because our graphics system is just doing its thing. But please send us in whatever you're seeing out there. It's just does not feel like December. It's 6 days until Christmas. And unfortunately, I believe Bob and Steve and everybody's been calling this system a Grinch storm. And at first I'm like, oh yeah, because green on the radar, Grinch, that makes sense. But no, this really is a Grinch storm. It's taken away that Christmas-like feel, that look in out here in Connecticut. We had snow all across the state, and now it's mostly gone across the area here. So that is sad because I'm a white Christmas will be nice. Would be nice. We're going to keep an eye on that for Tuesday. We have a question that says, will there be a deep freeze to create black ice? Fantastic question. Temperatures will be dropping into the upper 20s overnight. So some areas, especially those higher terrain areas, there's definitely a potential for that black ice to reform tomorrow morning. I'm thinking though, with black ice, you typically need calm winds. So we're just gonna have to see how far that wind calms down tomorrow morning, because it's an interesting give and take, because it's like you don't really want the strong winds tomorrow morning because that drops the wind chill into the teens. But you also don't really want calm winds because that can allow for fog, freezing fog, and black ice to form. So we want kind of that middle ground. Just a little breeze would be nice into tomorrow morning, and I think that's what we get. But I would still, tread with caution, of course, tomorrow morning across the region, while we will be briefly below freezing. Okay, looks like our graphics are back up. So yay for restarting the computer. It's always nice when that happens. There it is. There's all that rain that's happening across the state. And you can see some heavy rain just made its way through Hartford. I'm surprised I didn't hear it on the ceiling here. And then over towards the northern part of Connecticut. So go ahead and put me back on the screen so you can see a little bit of both of us here. All right, perfect. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Go ahead and pause that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out yet again, just to talk to some people. If you're just now joining us, what we're watching is this line of what's trying to form as a thunderstorm. It's really hard to do this time of year, but I have seen a couple of rumbles of thunder already, and even actually a severe thunderstorm warning not too far away in parts of New York State. So very interesting system. Let me go ahead and grab my little pointer so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This line right here, that signals where the cold front is. So as soon as that part of the system moves on through, things are going to cool down very quickly. And you'll also hear it when it comes through, because it'll likely be a quick spout of heavy rain. And I expect that across the state between about 11 a.m. in the western part of the state, and then it exits over towards Rhode Island at about 2 p.m. So kind of during the late morning, early afternoon hours there. Wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour across parts of the state right now, up to Greenwich there. Yeah, just really, really windy out there. We do still have that wind advisory for all of Connecticut, a high wind warning for parts of southern New England as well, parts of the Berkshires into Rhode Island, some of the islands there. Yeah, and the Cape. Very, very windy as we go through the day. If you guys have any more comments or things to report to us, please let us know. Of course, we love to hear from that. And I also want to show you these look at the temperatures. We got a shot of hitting 60 degrees in Danielson. I would actually bet that we're going to hit it, because we still got a couple hours left of warming before that cold front moves on through, especially in eastern Connecticut there where Danielson is. Potentially 60 degrees in December 19th at that. Crazy Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, very mild, but of course, very rainy, very windy right now. And of course, we're going to be watching that potential for strong wind gusts through the day. I do want to point this out. I'm going to wrap this up here soon, but I do want to point out that there is, on top of the wind advisory, we also have a coastal flood advisory for a lot of areas of this is all of the Connecticut shoreline here as it go ahead and it's populating. High tide is happening right now over towards New Haven and Bridgeport. It's a little bit closer to 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning. Otherwise, everybody else is just at about high tide. So we are going to have to watch for that with that heavy rain that's been falling across the state. Mainly it's though that wind that's picking up out of the south. It's pushing that water onto the shore there. Long Island does shield us a little bit, but not entirely. So we are going to have to keep an eye. Maybe it's a lot of those areas that are more prone to flooding, and it's just minor flooding we're watching here, but something to keep an eye on through high tide. I would say I do believe that coastal flood advisory is until 1 p.m., but that high tide again, officially at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. But I would definitely just be aware of that through at least 1 p.m. today, because we are talking about wind gusts over 50, 55 miles an hour. I mean, again, to give you an idea, a severe thunderstorm warning, when that's issued, the threshold is 60 mile per hour winds. So a very interesting, I mean, just crazy winds. That's the best way to describe it when you've been awake for a while now. But it's just very windy out there. All right, so well, let's go through the forecast one more time, and then I'll let you go, and then we'll get ready for the 11 o'clock show on air. So again, let me go ahead and show you this graphic, just showing you the next several hours in Connecticut. Let's go ahead and grab. Oh, that's tomorrow, not today. Just a second, everybody. We're having fun. This computer just is not having a good time today. But temperatures are in the 50s right now. That last band of that heavier rain moves in during the midday hours, then temperatures will start to fall. That's a look at tomorrow's forecast. Tomorrow looks great across the state. I mean, highs in the upper 30s, lower 40s, a good amount of sunshine, especially early in the day, and then a little bit more cloud cover later on. Here's a look at today's forecast for us here. Nope, that's not it, because why would it be? Here's a look at today's forecast. At 10 a.m. Here, we're still tracking some heavy rain by about 1 p.m. or so as well. You do see a couple of showers there at 4 and 7 p.m. There is that chance, but I would say most of us will dry out by about the 2 o'clock hour this afternoon. But take a look at temperatures. It's going to be about 58 degrees here in the next hour or two, and then we will cool down as we go through the rest of the afternoon. I mean, the 20s by 1 o'clock in the morning. But at least the weekend looking pretty good. Tomorrow, calmer winds, highs in the 30s and 40s. Sunday, highs are in the 40s, and that is the shortest day of the year. First day of winter is on Sunday. If you caught NBC Connecticut News today, this morning, I was filling in, and I really, I got to do this really cool story that I quickly want to touch on. It's on our website. It's about Comet 3I Atlas. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's basically the third ever discovered object that formed in a different galaxy. It's called Interstellar, different galaxy, and it's making its way into our galaxy, and it's actually approaching its closest path towards Earth right now. It's still going to be 167 million miles away, so no threat whatsoever. However, it's this is your only time to see, history, I think. If you're a big space nerd, or if you want to be out and about, if you're somebody who's an early riser, I would definitely encourage you tomorrow morning, as those skies are clearing, between about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, wake up and look to the southeast. That's right before the sunrise, and then you can stay up for what's going to be a beautiful sunrise tomorrow morning. But I wanted to show you, if of course my computer will load, there it is, the forecast for stargazing, or actually, comet gazing even. It's going to be really, really interesting. Kind of a greenish glow in the sky. Look to the southeast near the constellation Virgo between about 4 and 6 a.m. tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the 20s, and then you can stay up and watch the beautiful sunrise. I would really encourage you to do it if you can, because I do think it is going to be really cool. I'll be working at that point, but I'm going to try to step outside and see it just a little bit, because it would be really cool. And we have a new moon today. So darker skies out there, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to see that. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it is really, really interesting. Somebody's saying it's feeling cooler than it says. I mean, technically with a wind, we would have a wind chill in the 50s. It is a little weird to be talking about a wind chill, but there definitely might be one out there, especially with that cloud cover. Nothing, it doesn't feel like it's warming up out there. If the sun was out, that would be a different story. Let's go ahead and see if we do have a feels like temperature out there. It's not really popping up we don't really typically, at least our models don't show feels like temperature until the temperature is like closer to like the low 40s and 30s and stuff like that. But it probably does feel a little bit cooler than the 50s because of that wind and that cloud cover, especially. So thank you again for that report. So again, we're going to continue to track this rain and wind as we go through your Friday. An interesting setup for sure. We'll keep you updated. Again, I am watching. Before I let you go, I just want to again show you. Oh, looks like we've got a little band of heavier rain moving in into Fairfield County. Let me actually go ahead and grab this graphic really quickly just so I can see what's going on across the entire Northeast. Looks like some bands of heavier rain are continuing to fall across a lot of the area. I also, look at that. I want to point out, look at Jersey. Let's go ahead and point that out. New Jersey, that is just to the east of Philadelphia there, heading towards the Jersey coast and just south of New York. That's a severe thunderstorm warning for December 19th at 9:43 a.m. Very, very interesting there. I've got some heavy rain, some strong wind, and it probably won't take if they see a wind gust up to about 60 miles an hour, especially along that line of showers and thunderstorms. They'll probably issue a severe thunderstorm warning just because of how strong those winds are. And that's enough to create some damage, even if it's not raining along with it. But I am watching that line. Again, I do want to point out exactly where this is just one more time before we let you go. Let me go ahead and pause this. And here it is right there. You can see that. And it stretches all the way down into Jersey. So that is some heavy rain and some strong wind gusts along that. And that is where the highest wind gusts are going to be. And we will see that here in Connecticut between about 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. from west to east. That's what we're watching there. Make sure you're staying safe as we go through your day today, because that's, of course, what it's all about. So that afternoon and evening commute, likely still going to be very windy, maybe a little bit drier out there for most of us, but at least we will. Bring that back. There we go. But at least we'll be getting a little bit better. The wind will die down through tonight. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We hope that you have a beautiful weekend. If you're traveling anywhere this weekend ahead of the holidays, make sure you're staying safe. This weekend honestly looks pretty great. It's just today that we've got some issues. Even later on today, if you have any plans, it's still going to be pretty windy out there as things dry out this afternoon. So that wind is going to hang on through today, through tonight, finally dying down by Saturday morning. And then tomorrow looks great. Sunday looks pretty good too. If you're heading up towards northern New England, you might run into a little bit of snow on Sunday and a little bit of a breeze. Otherwise, Sunday is not looking too bad at all. Monday's a little bit cooler. And then we are monitoring the chance for some snow on Tuesday and potentially a rain system late Christmas Day into next Friday. So a lot going on in the weather department. We've got you covered. We're, of course, going to be on top of this as you head out for your holiday travel, whatever it might be. Keep it here at NBC Connecticut. We'll keep you updated. Stay safe. Have a great Friday, everybody.